Okay, so Fahmi, thanks for joining us on this Undi Iklim series. First question, will you push for or table and vote in favor of the urgent enactment of the Malaysian Climate Emergency Act?
In principle, yes. I've not cited a draft. I'd like to see that draft. We have previously seen sometimes just open-ended support. When we finally see the draft, it's not as good as we imagined it was. The generational endgame, tobacco control bill, for example, in principle, I was very supportive of it until we saw the draft that the minister brought, and immediately it raised too many red flags.
I see.
So what is in principle good may not in detail be as good as we think it is. So
right.
My caveat is I like to cite the bill first.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, question 2. Will you push for or table and vote in favor to institutionalize the just transition mechanism of the fossil fuel economy towards a low carbon society?
Yeah, in principle, yes.
Okay. No elaboration?
I'm in favor.
Okay.
I think in principle, again, in order for us to it must cover a range of policies, including but not limited to, for example, public transport, personal vehicle ownership. What do we do with new power plants? What do we do with old power plants? And a whole, I think, host of questions which need to be answered. Yeah? So these are policy or issue dasar that I think are very important. The objective is necessary. The pathway to get there, I think, has to be critically and seen in detail.
Right, definitely, yes. Okay, number 3, will you push for, table, and vote in favor of the Freedom of Information Act so the public can access information related to the environment and climate and all administrative and governance matters not directly related to national security?
Yeah, in principle, yes. It must be a Freedom of Information Act has to be, how do you say, it's something which I'm in favor of. It's something which has to be applied across the board. Something that we have tried in various forms in Selangor and Penang. So at a federal level, we have to find the best mechanism to do it, but I'm in favor.
Okay, okay. And question number 4, will you push for or table and vote in favor of the Citizens' Freedom to Criticize and Question Governance Act on all matters of government, especially related to the protection of the environment, indigenous people's rights, biodiversity and wildlife rights, climate, and social justice, that will allow the citizens of Malaysia the liberty from prosecution and persecution in defending their rights to rule of law, clean air and water, ecosystem and human rights protection, and all other fundamental liberties?
Yeah, in principle, yes.
Okay, so just to clarify again for YouTube viewers who may not have heard the earlier remark I made. So all this, acts or mechanisms is in relation to Climate Action Week, which is September 17, 2023. And we've heard Fahmi's answers to our questions. Now, moving on to question 5, will you defend and push for measures to ensure the protection of existing forest reserves in your state and to encourage the same in other states so that forests remain intact as whole functioning ecosystems to ensure continual protection of Malaysia's rich biodiversity, water catchment areas, and our rights to a green environment?
Yes.
Okay. Next, question 6. Will you push for changes in law or table in Parliament to bring back local council elections?
Yes.
Okay.
But at the same time, we have to answer some very important questions. We need to spend more on education about democracy, civic education. We need to find better mechanisms, especially in the federal constituency of Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and Labuan, for people to participate, because we only have a parliamentarian, we don't have state assembly person, or we don't have local councillors. So I think for local council, I think it's quite a comprehensive how do you say, review of the existing laws, and but I'm in favor.
Okay, all right. And the last question before we allow you to say or give your message to the Lembah Pantai and all Malaysia voters. The last question is this: do you place your voters or constituents and their needs, rights, and aspirations over that of your political party and your conscience and morality?
Yes.
Okay, short and sweet. So you have the floor now. Whatever you would like to say to voters in Lembah Pantai and or Malaysia. Fahmi?
Yeah, thanks, Johnson and friends under the Undi Iklim initiative. It's a very timely reminder, timely effort. In Lembah Pantai as well as Kuala Lumpur, we've seen how the changing pattern of weather has adversely affected us, especially in the past year, but not limited to that. Now we're seeing more rain and definitely sporadic incidences of whether it's flash floods or landslides, and this is very worrying. The increase in rain also inadvertently and indirectly affects people's livelihood, either those who are daily traders or those who are farmers. So climate change, the shift in the weather pattern, and the increase in the average recurrence interval, ARI, indicator of rainfall, I think shows that something is amiss with the environment. We need to step up our initiative, not only to gazette the remaining forest reserves and make sure they stay gazetted. We also need to make sure that efforts are stepped up to increase planting of trees, and these trees ideally should be the ones that can afford a much larger volume of carbon sequestration, and also assist with rewilding initiatives throughout, especially urban areas. And I think for people in Kuala Lumpur, not only in the Lembah Pantai, but the rest of Kuala Lumpur as well, one of our concerns is the loss of natural areas like Bukit Dinding in Setiawangsa, parts of Federal Hill in Lembah Pantai, and we need to, and also for resident Taman Tun, Taman Rimba Kiara, and Bukit Kiara. So I think a lot more has to be done, not only to highlight the importance of these locations and the importance of making sure that these areas that are effectively some of them secondary forests, some of them, most of them are secondary forests, are still preserved well. the best thing about Lembah Pantai actually is that the KL side of Bukit Gasing, which is known as Bukit Kerinci, was supposed to have been a site of replanting and rewilding project, because it used to be Bukit Gasing used to be rubber estate. So EBKL was working with FRIM and a number of other organizations to plant more jungle trees. Yeah. So I think those kind of initiatives have to be stepped up. So don't forget, those of you who are watching, who are voters, 19th of November, come out and vote, come out early, and vote for those who are aware that we are in a climate emergency, and we'll try to do something about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fahmi Fadzil, candidate for Lembah Pantai. Thank you for joining us on this show.